Hello.
Yes, ma'am.
Good evening. Good evening, everyone present in this webinar. In today's section, we are gathered here to discuss about Rashtriya Poshan Maah. So I would like to request Anumeha ma'am to just give an introduction of today's series. So over to Anu.
Thank you, ma'am. Yeah. Good evening and a warm welcome to everyone present in this virtual session. With the blessings of His Holiness Sri Jagat Guru Sri Shivratri Deshikendra Mahaswamiji, I welcome Dr. Sneha, who is among us today for this session. On behalf of JSS Public School, I welcome you, ma'am. I also welcome Mrs. Geetha Srinivas, a coordinator of class 8th and 9th, to inspire children about Rashtriya Poshan Maah. I also welcome our principal, ma'am, Mrs. Geetha Karola, teachers and students. So today we have gathered to celebrate the National Nutrition Month. The government is celebrating the month of September as a National Nutrition Month under the Poshan Abhiyan. It is an initiative by Women and Child Development Ministry and a Niti Aayog. Over to Geetha ma'am now.
Before we start this session, we will seek the blessings from God. Over to Ghana for the prayer song.
Thank you, ma'am. Varavina mridupani vanaruhalochanarani suruchirabambaraveni suranuta kalyani nirupama shubhaguna lola Nirata Jaya Pradashila Varada Priya Ranganayaki Vanchita Paladayaki Sarasija Sanajanani Jaya Jaya Jaya. Thank you, ma'am.
Yes, thank you, Ghana, for a wonderful prayer. It was very soothing prayer. Yeah, now I request Sneha ma'am to just take up this session and inspire our children with your nutritional values for the adolescent children. Over to you, ma'am.
Thank you. First of all, thank you all to inviting me for this event. I'm really happy you did. And Ghana, you have awesome voice. I wish I had one like that.
Thank you.
Okay, so as we know, it's Rashtriya Poshan Maah. We need to talk about nutrition. And I think pretty much COVID brought the importance of nutrition in the picture itself. That we have been missing over the months and years actually and neglecting it so much. It's important that we start shifting to healthcare over sick care rather than falling sick and then working on it. We'd rather work on taking care of our health first, working on nutrition and fitness. And child, he is at a growing age. This is the time where you build the foundation of a good health. Especially at adolescent age, it's very important. I shall share a PPT which will give you a better idea. Can you see it?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So, yeah. Okay, we have students and parents both or just the parents?
Both, ma'am.
Both. Okay, great. So as we know, like we all know that we grow by age, our muscle and bone mass increases, right? So when we grow, the nutrition requirement increases. So let's say when it's a toddler, you feed them porridge, but you don't feed them porridge when they're 10-year-old, right? You try to introduce more foods. Why? Because they need more nutrition, more improvised nutrition. But when it comes to adolescent age, the standard that we're having, 8 to 10 standard kids or 9 standard kids, they're at this extreme growth spurt stage. That is, there it's just not the height, it's entire development that's been taking place, right? Where the girls are getting menstrual cycle, boys are growing their skeleton, lean body mass so faster. So it's very important that we focus on extra nutrition that needs to be given to adolescent age. You need an extra nutrition, especially these kids are the most active ones, right? So I'll just, yeah. So as you can see, increased nutrient requirement is required. Boys grow about 8 inches, gain about 45 pounds, and increase their lean body mass, whereas girls increase their body fat. Reason being, they go through menstrual cycle, so their sexual development becomes important, and this body fat is going to help them into that. So for that, we need to take care of nutrition. But sadly, there are so many aspects that comes into the picture. So no matter what home environment you provide them, they spend the most of their times in school, colleges, tuitions, the social practices with their friends, going out to canteen, eating chips, burgers, pizzas. So the time when they need to have the most nutritious food, they end up eating most non-nutrient or low nutrient food choices, right? And that is why two conditions might arise. Statistically, India is literally growing in childhood obesity because all they end up eating is trans fat food, deep fried foods, canned foods. Otherwise, they are nutritionally deficient, right? And otherwise, you can see a lot of girls who are going through menstrual cycle already having a lot of hormonal problems. They'll have painful periods or irregular periods. All of it become all of it happens only and only because of their poor nutrition choices. Of course, I'm not telling them to like torture them and not allow them to not enjoy the foods they love. They should, but the frequency should lower down. It the red, the portion sizes of fruits and vegetables are also lowered because they start eating all these junk foods so much that they don't feel or don't have appetite for fruits and vegetables what a mom offers at home, right? So there are certain nutrients that you need to take care of, especially at this adolescent age. First is calcium. Of course, the bone mass is increasing, your height is increasing, then you're having menstrual cycle. Then there are a lot of other functions that flexibility, all of it requires calcium. And this is the age, guys. I want to inform this to all the parents. You might have heard about osteoporosis, a lot of bone health issues that females or male, it occurs in the late 30s or 40s or 20s as well nowadays. It happens because the foundation of calcium sources was not built at the adolescent and teenage years. So right now, how good calcium you store in their body, how better food quality you take is going to decide how quickly the calcium is going to be lost from your body stores later in the age. So this is the time you have to feed your kids with dairy and dairy products, lots of nuts and seeds. For people who eat non-veg, you have like a plus point. So you get a lot of calcium sources in that. Secondly, iron. Iron becomes extremely important for girls here. So who have daughters here, it's very important that you concentrate on your iron levels. Since you're starting to menstruate, your loss of iron is higher. So you got to have dates. Maybe in the morning when you wake up, you start having 2 dates or maybe raisins. But also, along with iron, leafy green vegetables, very important. All the kids out there, listen to me. 3 times green leafy vegetables. And parents, don't feed them forcefully. Try to incorporate more funny or tasty dishes. Maybe stuff it into some grilled patties. That might help them to eat and enjoy the food because mind over body connection is important. If you force them and they are not happy with the food, that's not going to help either. So try to research about more tasty dishes that where you can incorporate those vegetables that they don't like. So for iron sources, you incorporate more green leafy vegetables, more seeds, more chicken for those who eat eggs are important. So you involve that. And a very, very, very important point for iron is vitamin C rich sources. Iron gets absorbed into your body when it is combined with vitamin C, that is orange, lemon juice, amla, or let's say sweet lime, mango. All these vitamin C rich sources of food needs to be had with the iron sources of food. Let's say if I give my kid 2 dates, I'll give lemon juice along. Hello. Apologies. I think I got disconnected from. Am I audible?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Sorry, I just got disconnected. So, what was the last word that you could hear me out? Hello.
Yes, ma'am. We could hear this slide. What?
Yeah.
Hello.
Protein.
Hmm.
Protein, right?
I think yes, protein.
Yeah. So, as I was saying, is protein is extremely important. Your immunity, your growth, your muscle mass, all is decided on the basis of how your protein requirements. Protein, how you meet your protein in the day. So your kid needs to have protein in every meal. Every meal. When I say, let's say breakfast, you need to add eggs, maybe sprouts in some form, paneer in some form, dairy products, 1 glass of milk in some form, lots of almonds and other nuts. These are going to provide them with the essential amino acids, essential protein for brain development, muscle development, and bone development as well. Even slightest of impact there is going to disturb your growth rate. The kids' growth rate, it gets delayed, or they don't reach to the 100% of their potential. So it's very important to involve some or the other form of protein, either dals, beans. So it's vegetarian or non-vegetarian, you got a lot of protein sources. Please involve that and ensure that your kids eat that well. And when there are some athletes between us, I'm so sure about it, a lot of kids who are pro in sports, the requirement becomes extra because there normally the kid is active, right? When they're, let's say they're involved in football, they burn extra 500 calories, extra 300 calories, because apart from being active the whole day, they're going for these sessions. Maybe they're training or they're going for play, or if they're like a proper, they go for states or nationals, then definitely they burn so much of extra calories. So for that, you also have to ensure you can get yourself consulted with the nutritionist, but then you need to make sure that you provide them extra nutrition so that their growth doesn't get compromised in order to just feed them for their sports. So when it's a sports coming into the picture, you need to make sure that you take care of both. None of these get compromised, because when it's a sport, you want them to perform really good. You don't want them to hamper their performance or their endurance or their recovery after the sports or matches, right? So also the growth shouldn't stop just because all the nutrition you're giving to them is getting utilized for the sport that they're playing. Later on, they don't get enough nutrition for their own growth. That shouldn't happen. So you need to take that extra care. Now, final, the most basic that all of us forget is you need to have at least 2 serving of fruit. All the parents out here, I'd request you, make sure you feed your kid, give them 1 or 2 fruits in their tiffin itself. Now I think it's more of an online lecture. Around mid-morning snack, 11:30, you just give them, or maybe between 2 lectures break, you give them 1 fruit. They need to have 1 fruit in the mid-morning and 1 in the evening snack. But they need to have at least 2 fresh fruits, seasonal fruits. Don't go for exotic ones. Just go with what is available in that particular season and whatever is fresh. Dairy products, please introduce dairy, 1 glass of milk in a day or maybe 2 glasses of milk, whatever your kid is comfortable. Do not enforce that. And curd, at least 1 cup, 1 katori of curd. Then if you have protein sources, if you eat meat, fish, you can always involve that once in major meal. And eggs is important. If you're eating egg, 1 whole egg every day needs to be given. And if you're vegetarian, you got sprouts, you got beans, you got dal. And if you're having milk, automatically you get a lot of protein from there. So please consume that. Try to give them whole grain cereals. This white bread, jam, try to avoid that. Once in a while, if they really need it, sure, give them. It's okay. They deserve it if they're following a good diet. But try to give them good whole grain cereals like, jawar roti sometimes. Try to incorporate all these natural sources of food that we have in India. We don't introduce to them, and that's why they fall in the trend of this exotic vegetables, exotic cereals. We don't want that. This is the time you're going to educate them about the cereals that we have it here, which is the most nutritious one. Then ensure that they're very active. Nowadays, it was our generation when we used to only go out and play out there in the playground. Now kids' games is this, cell phones. And when mom, dad don't want to pay attention to their kid, acha lay mobile phone, just take the mobile phone and play your game. They just want to avoid that. Do not do that. That just does not hamper their physical growth. You think it's just the physical growth hamper, it is also hampering their mental growth. Do not do that. You can't completely avoid mobile phone because they are also quite stubborn about it, but reduce or maybe give a time span. This is the hour, this is 30 minutes that you're going to have it for the entire day. That's all. You push them to go out and play. No matter what they love, they need to go out and play. They need to be active. You don't have to make them a couch potato. That's going to impact their health. And later on, you can't complain, my kid is not doing so. You have to push them. They will do what they will see in their friend circle. So you need to bring that change yourself. You need to be a little stringent. Make sure they hydrate really well. They forget hydrating. Make sure they really hydrate. 1 to 2 liters of water they should consume. And if they don't enjoy plain water, try giving them lemon water. Try giving actually help in better hydration. So you can, and make sure to avoid these foods like Sprite, cold drinks, or refined foods. Don't completely eliminate them because that might make them very unhappy, but maybe once in 10 days, once in 15 days, that's how you do it. Tell them that if you follow a good diet, we'll give you whatever you want. But you have to maintain this serving. Lots of fresh vegetables. You have to incorporate in every major meal, there should be a lot of vegetables. Variety of vegetables. Try to give them variety. Aisa nahi ki just because they love spinach, you're going to give them only spinach all the time. You got to give them all the vegetables, all the fruits that they get, all the micronutrients. Every fruit, every vegetables, every food basically have their own benefits. And you need to give little of all of them. So I think this much should be enough for all of you to maintain. And kids, you better listen to your parents later on to make of how you look and how you play. So please take care of that. Also involve walnuts in their diet because this is the time their brain is also developing. So it's important you introduce a lot of omega-3 foods. That is walnut, healthy fats basically. 1 teaspoon of ghee is also okay for those who consume in their homes. It is all healthy. It is important. Fat is not bad. The trans fat that they eat outside is bad. The fat that you get from natural sources like ghee and let's say walnuts, all the dry fruits and all the nuts, they are all good. Consume it in the right proportion. It works best for the kid. Okay, I think that's should be it.
Thank you, Sneha ma'am. It was a wonderful suggestion about nutritious food to these adolescents, children. Hope they will take forth your suggestion. Because that this is the right time actually, because after COVID, most of us have lost a lot of this one. So it's good actually we had this session and you have explained it very well. And thank you, ma'am. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah. Myself, Geetha Srinivas, the coordinator of JSS Public School, HSR Layout. The government is celebrating this month of September as the National Nutrition Month under the Poshan Abhiyan. It was launched on 8th March 2018. It targets on the 10 themes such as antenatal care, optimal breastfeeding, complementary feeding, diet, growth monitoring, girls' education, right age of marriage, hygiene and sanitization, and food fortification. And this year we had the theme, serve at least one nutritious meal to the underprivileged children. So yesterday, we have sent the message to all the children of our school to do this activity and send a photograph like any nutritious food, either it may be the curd rice or whatever, they can do it on their own. They feel very happy to do this. So this is the theme this time. So each one of us, if we try to give one meal to the underprivileged children, at least this month, I hope maximum children will be benefited. So before we start this, I will share the PPT and just give a head. So, one second, give me 2 minutes.
Ma'am, I shall take your leave. I have some meeting to attend. So,
Yes, ma'am. Thank you so much for being
thank
a
you.
part.
All the best, guys. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Geetha, madam, I can share it on your behalf if you don't mind.
Yes, yes, sir. Yes.
We are able to see your screen.
Yes. Yes. So here in this slide, we would like to talk about. It was launched by our Prime Minister Modi ji on 8th March 2018, and it is initiative by Women and Child Development Ministry and Niti Aayog. Coming to the next slide. Yes. Ministry of Women and Children Development was implementing it in 315 districts in the first year. When they started in 2018, in 2019, within 1 year, they could cover 315 districts relating to this Mahaposhan. Yes, next is the slide stating that in the year 2019, they had the theme called Complementary Feeding. What is exactly complementary feeding? Complementary feeding means it is the supplements of nutrients to the breastfeeding. Suppose during the pregnancy, if the mother is not able to take sufficient nutrients to her food intake, then during the lactation period, she will not be able to give proper milk to her child. So this is called as complementary feeding. So for those mothers who are unable to feed their children, they used to give some supplements for the children. So going on to the next slide, Poshan Abhiyan, it states that in every stages of your life, it is very important. Poshan is very important. That is during your infant's age, when you are adolescent, yes, then once you get married and become pregnant, then once you give birth, all these stages in the girl's age is very important for the present women. And also, nutrition food is very much necessary for all the stages. So coming to the next slide, it is about the malnutrition. What is exactly malnutrition? Malnutrition means lack of proper nutrition or not having enough food. Suppose you feel sometimes that we are having food 3 times a day, 4 times a day, but it's not the complete food. It should have all the nutrients in the diet. Then only we say it is a balanced diet or a complete food. Sometimes some new food doesn't contain any nutritive value, then the people will undergo malnutrition. In India, in our country, we have 67% of people suffering from malnutrition. It's all because of poverty and overpopulation. So this is the very good initiative taken by Modi ji sir. So by this, at least we can reduce the stage in the next generation. So coming to this, what are the impact of malnutrition, or what are the effects of social and economic development? See, when they don't have proper food, they become very weak and they're not stable to work. That is called as low energy. When they have low energy, their mind will not work. Next one is weight loss. Some children you can see, even though they're of 10 to 12 years, they are underweight. Okay, so all this happens, and immunity power also will be very less. Immunity means, suppose when there are two children where one child's immunity is less, they will be attacked by cold and cough very easily, by diseases. So the person who is immune to this will not suffer from diseases. So then exactly balanced diet. So we all suggest to have balanced diet, because balanced diet is a diet which contains all the nutrients in correct proportion. So in a balanced diet, we come across all the nutrients like carbohydrates, proteins, fats, vitamins, minerals, roughage, and water. So what is actually carbohydrates? It is the body energy giving food, and proteins are the body building foods. Proteins are very much necessary for children during the growing age, that is during the adolescence, because when the intake of proteins is more, then the growth of the body also will grow very well. And also, it's not that they should consume only carbohydrates or only proteins, but in their diet, they should have all the nutrients in proper proportion. Then only a child will be very healthy. Talking about the nutritional issues in India. What are the issues in nutritional India? It is either overweight or undernutrition. That's also called as body mass index. To check out whether you are a normal child or whether you are underweight or obesity, you can take this formula, that is body mass index. That is, body mass index is nothing but the weight of your body divided by the square of your body height. For example, if you are weighing 40 kgs, 40 divided by what is your height? If you are 5 feet, then square of that is 25, not 10, 25, square of it. So if you divide, then you will get the body mass index. And coming to the next, it is about Anganwadi workers. In village side, if there are so many remote villages where people will not have proper facilities, sanitization, proper hospitals, schools and all. So their Anganwadi workers will be appointed by the government, where these workers go to those villages, and if the children, that is infants, are born, for them proper food will be given, proper injections, syrups, and also for pregnant ladies, the ladies will be taken care to deliver their babies in a proper manner, in a hygienic place. So all this will be done by Anganwadi workers. And also these Anganwadi workers, they give free food for children, because most of the people are, I told you in India, maximum percentage is because of poverty. If both the parents go for work, the children are not taken proper care. So at least these Anganwadi workers, they call these children for the schools. So children, because they get at least one meal a day, they are invited and they come to school. So dropouts will be avoided also. So these Anganwadi workers, they play a major role in the rural areas for helping the small children. And talking about the same thing, it was set up by involving masses through Jan Andolan, and a lot of ladies who are little educated, like those who have finished 10th standard, at least they'll be knowing what type of medicines should be given, how the child should be taken care, how the ladies have to be told about sanitization, about the cleanliness, hygiene after the child is born, that is pre and post maternity. Okay. So this is just, I'm just taking out very fast. And what are the major impacts That is, the targets will strive to reduce the level of stunting, undernutrition, anemia. Anemia means weakness, and low birth weight babies. So in some cases, when the mother has not had sufficient or proper nutritious food in her diet, definitely the child will be born very underweight or very weak. So the last one, what I would like to tell is the key nutrition strategies. That is, the first one is IFCF, that is infant and young child feeding. So as I told you, these Anganwadi ladies, they will be trained to come to the doorstep, and they provide you with proper medicines and food in rural areas. Food and nutrition, that is the same thing. What type of food has to be taken during the infant's birth, or the ladies who are pregnant, that is pregnant ladies. And coming to immunization, immunization is nothing but we are immune to infection, that is protecting against diseases through vaccination. Recently, we all had 2 doses. We means not you, but your siblings, that is your brothers and sisters and your parents. We had 2 set of 2 jabs of vaccination for COVID, isn't it? That's called as immunization. And immunization vaccinations will be given free by the government in public health centers. Okay, you know where will be the puppy? It's also known as PHC. Do you know where will be public health centers? In HSR, have you seen? In local, just opposite to the lake that is just beside the flyover. Yes, institutional delivery. That is also same thing, where how the maternity, this thing has to be taken care of. Then water, sanitization and hygiene, how it has to be maintained, will also be guided by these PHCs, that is public health centers. Coming to the deworming means to get rid of helminthes parasite, such as roundworm, flukes, and tapeworms. These worms, as you all know, these nowadays children, you are very familiar with all fast foods like chocolates, cakes, sweets, junk foods. So what happens when you consume a lot of these foods, the helminthes parasite grow in your stomach, and whatever you are eating will be taken away or will be absorbed by these parasites, and you look very weak, or you will not have a proper growth. So often you have to take deworming tablets. That also was initiated in our school, isn't it? From PHC, we had 2 doctors, nurse who came and who gave deworming tablets. This can be taken orally. And when you take orally, what happens? These worms kills the parasite, and it will come out through the anus. Then coming to the next topic, that is ORS zinc. In some rural areas, without proper sanitation, or without proper water facility, the children, that is infants, small children, they may suffer from water problems. Or when the water is contaminated, the child may suffer from loose motions or vomiting. So once the child is left like the continuous vomiting and loose motions, the water will be lost from the body. When a lot of water gets lost from the body gets dehydrated. To avoid this dehydration, you have to give this ORS powder mixed with water to the child. So it keeps your body stable and the child can recover very fast. It contains maximum content of zinc. Then coming to the last point, it is food fortification. Food fortification means you, along with all the nutrients in your diet, food fortification means the intake of more of minerals and vitamins. Vitamins, you will get it from a lot of things. Then where do you get these minerals? Mineral substitutes are the the vegetables which are grown below the soil. As you all know, the soil contains a lot of minerals. So the vegetables that are grown below the soil, that is carrot, radish, potato, all these contain a lot of minerals, which is very much necessary for the growth of the children. So these were the key nutrition strategies which we have to follow. So to bring up the children in a proper way. The first thing is we should get rid of all this. To summarize, I would like to tell the last point as India is still struggling to meet the Poshan Abhiyan targets because India is an emerging, developing country. The root causes for all these is poverty, overpopulation, illiteracy, corruption, and lack of accountability. I hope you agree for this, isn't it? So we people, educated people, should see that at least today or by the end of this month, you all try to prepare whatever you want, nutritious food, and just give at least one meal to the workers and just in front of your house or anywhere you see them. At least if you do once in a month, then those children will be benefited. Hope so. I have covered, maybe it was fast, but I hope I have covered maximum points. And Madam Sneha, Madam also shared her views very well. And this is, so at least children will take forth and bring through their career. Okay. Anything else? If you have anything to ask, you can ask children, or we will wind up. Yes, over to Neetu, ma'am.
Yes, good evening, one and all present here. So I would like to thank Dr. Sneha. She has given us wonderful information about that healthy diet which that adolescent children should take. And I would like to thank our principal ma'am, Mrs. Geetha Karola, and our coordinator ma'am, Mrs. Geetha Srinivas ma'am, for staging such a wonderful platform for our students. Thank you, everyone. Over to Geetha ma'am.
Yes, thank you. Thank you, teachers, for your support. Yes, children, you can start quitting one.